Hello, apes. This is part 2 of essentially 3 for Unit 5C. We did plate tectonics in class, whatever the little bit of plate tectonics that we didn't cover. The screencast is noted in classroom. This is geology and land resources, things that come from it. And then there's a next one, which talks about market value of things and costs and cost-benefit ratios. Here's our rocks and mining. We have minerals, we have rocks. Minerals are things like concrete, which are mixes together, and rocks are those naturally formed combinations of these minerals. Minerals can be metallic and non-metallic. Aluminum, iron, which is used for steel, are metallic, and then your non-metals are things like sand and gravel. We have ore, which is what you mine for. That's the profitable concentration of a mineral. You have high grade and you have low grade. So on the left here, you can see this is basically the part that they want, and the rest of it all around, here we go, is what needs to be kind of refined and gotten to. So high grade ore, you're going to get more money for. Low grade ore is less. And then reserves is how much is actually down there. And reserves vary based on our technology to get them. So say we have 50 years left of reserves of oil. In another 10 years, we might have new technology where we can extract oil from a different resource. So our reserves will go up to, say, like 75 years. And that's actually happened with fracking. We have sedimentary rocks, igneous rocks, and metamorphic rock. I'm not going to go into details with this. We're going to do the lab in class on this. And then we have ways to remove these mineral deposits called mining. So we have 3 different types of surface mining that we're going to look into, and 1 type of subsurface mining, which is what most people think of when they think mining. Okay. For surface mining, it's more shallow deposits. The overburden, the stuff on top, is removed, and then that overburden becomes waste material afterwards. And you say, yeah, but it's all natural. But the thing is that the way that nature has created this, we're taking minerals out and we're moving layers, and so you need to actually bring in viable topsoil afterwards, because you can't just plant stuff here and it will grow, because you're exposing the more than just the A topsoil layer. You're in the E layer, the C layer, you're down to the actual rock as well. So we have open pit mining, which is an open pit, strip mining, which you remove in strips, contour strip mining, which is strip mining but just on the contour of the land, like contour farming. And then you have mountaintop removal, which is exactly what it sounds like. You basically blow up an entire freaking mountain to get what's in it. Big hole, open pit. Open pit. Okay. Strip mining. Your layers of the surface soil and the rock are removed. It exposes the resource, and then the soil and the rock are replaced afterwards, or reclaimed. There we go. So this is what surface mining kind of creates. And whenever you see pretty colors, like, ooh, look, these are such a pretty color of blue, it means it's toxic. So this is not pretty. It's not good for the environment. Okay. This is strip mining. This is actually in Greece, in the area that I'm from. And they've literally just, this is actually longwall-ish mining, but it's surface longwall mining. Okay. And for this, you can see this is a coal mine, and they're just removing layers and layers, and these trucks are absolutely massive. Okay. Mountaintop removal is mostly used for coal mining in the Appalachian Mountains. So you clear cut these forests. The timber is either sold or burned. Mostly it's burned because it's cheaper. The topsoil is then removed, and they can actually sell that. And then the rock is blasted away, and you have these repeated cycles of blasting, and you can remove hundreds of vertical feet of mountaintop. And then you have the waste rock that's dumped in valleys. So you're literally taking off the top of the mountain and you're putting into the valleys, so you're creating flat areas. It sucks. Here are the Appalachian Mountains, go all the way up through Canada, and like we talked about in class, over to Finland. So here's a before and an after of mountaintop removal. So you can see all of the exposed land on the right-hand side. This is literally just a mountain that's been destroyed. This is a little, well, not a little, this is a massive truck. So this is a huge, huge scale. So you can see the valley was here, and they're just filling it up with their whatever it is they don't need anymore. This is in West Virginia, the before and the after. Huge environmental degradation. You can't put this back. There is no reclamation for this. Okay. So underground subsurface mining, you have room and pillar mining, long wall mining, which I spoke about before. Moves along the length of the coal face and it falls into a conveyor belt. It takes it up to the surface. Excuse me. So here are the different tunnels and evacuation systems and the pumps, because a lot of water gets down into there. You have ventilation shafts and elevators going up and down essentially, and then areas where you see they dump what it is that they don't need. It goes down this chute here and then it falls into this hole and they kind of start filling up stuff. Here's some of the fun machines that they use. This is what we think of when we think of subsurface mining. There are actually a lot of coal mines like this in New Jersey, and mines in general rather. And you see these up here and then down, horrible color, but these are made out of wood. And over time, when this wood decomposes, what you end up getting are sinkholes down into these mines. And in New Jersey, most of these mines have been sealed up, but there are a lot of them that still we just don't know where they are. So a lot of kids used to go out exploring and actually fall into old sinkholes from mines. This is a lot more modern. Okay. These are massive digging machines. Okay, so tailings dams. We spoke about these a bit when we were talking about hazardous waste. Tailings dams are the place that the reserves, the stuff they don't need is put into that area. And they carry a high hazard designation. So if they fail, they would likely lead to human casualties. This just happened in either Brazil or Argentina. And another 203 in the US carry a significant risk of threatening environmental damage. So here's a map. Red is high, yellow is significant, and gray is low. So you can see this high concentration, okay, through Ohio and Pennsylvania and West Virginia and even into Kentucky and Tennessee. This is the Ohio Valley. It is where most of the coal mining happens. Okay. Here's a little bit of a bio on the Gold King mine wastewater spill. So it was a Summit Mill gold mine in Colorado. It became a toxic waste site. The Canadian company that owned it declared bankruptcy. And then what happened was the cleanup, the EPA was doing a cleanup, and a dam broke and all of this water went into a bunch of Colorado rivers. So this is actually the leak, and they had a really hard time stopping this, and this is what it did to the surrounding landscape. And it went through this pulse of nasty chemical arsenic cadmium laden stuff that just killed everything in its path along the way. So it made its way from the mine down through the San Juan River, which became the Colorado River, and it was just an absolute nightmare. Before and after shots. And eventually it cleared itself out, but it's horrible. There are a lot of environmental impacts of mining. Subsidence, or the collapse above land, acid mine drainage, which is the pollution caused when the acids like sulfuric acid and dissolved different like lead, arsenic, and cadmium wash out into the mines, into nearby waterways, because you can't stop water from going into a mine, and then it oxidizes this ore that is now exposed is oxidized because now it's in contact with oxygen, and it creates what we call acid mine drainage. Okay, this is subsidence, not subsidies. Subsidence is when the ground sinks down. So you see down here, I'm going to do this in red. You can see down here, this is the old coal mine, and it sinks right here. So this whole area above it sinks down, let's say 10 feet or so. It's not a huge amount in some places, but in some places it can also cause sinkholes like this. And a lot of times when people are building, they don't know that there's an old coal mine underneath, which is crazy. Processing minerals. We smelt, which is basically just heating the hell out of it. It emits a lot of air pollution. It causes water pollution. There are liquid and hazardous wastes that are produced, and we use something called cyanide heap leaching to extract gold from its ore, and then that cyanide is usually kept in pools, and a lot of times those pools rupture, like in the Gold King mine disaster, and that cyanide poisons everything in its path. Okay. U.S. General Mining Law of 1872 basically said, go west and mine because we need stuff. So here's land, mine it, and you could buy land for 1872 prices if you were going to mine it up until about 1995. And then also with this, it says companies now must pay for cleanup, which was only modified in 1992. Okay. When we restore this mining land, what we want to do is prevent further degradation and erosion of land. Okay. A lot of times we'll use create wetlands, and we'll use phytoremediation, which is using those plants to absorb these toxic materials. Okay. So in Indonesia, if you look at this, you can see trees are never in nature exist in pretty nice rows. Okay. This is an old mine that's been reclaimed, as you can see by the big sign that says reclamation project. All right, the last thing we're going to do here is hydraulic fracturing, which we're going to get into more when we do energy. But it's known as fracking, and you're digging wells into non-porous rocks. You use explosives to break apart those rocks and pump in water and chemicals to extract the oil. You basically take a rock, you squeeze it, you blast the hell out of it, you mix it with some chemicals, and the oil leaches out of it. Then you pump that all up, and you get rid of the water, and the oil goes into like this truck that's here. Okay, here is your step-by-step, the way that it is done. And that's all I got for you guys.